guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jag, and today we're actually going to cover Math 10. Again, this is a very important topic. The topic is on basically the quadratics unit in grade 10 math, and we're going to go through the concept of completing the square today. Alright, so with that, let's dive in. Okay, I have this example written down on the board. It is y equals x squared plus 8x minus 7. Okay? So in the first step, actually, what you're going to do is you're going to put the brackets around the first two terms. So I have brackets around the x squared plus the 8x. Okay? So there are a bunch of steps. Make sure you're just following along as we go through it. And in the second step, I'm going to take whatever is in front of my x value. So in this case, it is 8. I'm going to divide the 8 by 2. Okay? And it's going to give me my perfect square, which is 4. Okay? So here, we're going to write x squared plus 8x, and you're going to add and subtract the perfect square. So in this case, I had 4, so I'm going to do plus 4 squared minus 4 squared, close your brackets, okay, and leave the minus 7 outside the brackets here, okay. I'm going to be doing some extra steps, okay. After you get really good with completing the square, you can always skip some steps as you wish. Okay, so in this step, we're going to do x squared plus 8x. I'm going to do the 4 squared. Okay, so again, remember 4 squared is not 4 times 2. That's equal to 8. 4 squared is 4 times 4. You're multiplying the number by itself. Okay, which is 16. So we're going to do plus 16 minus 16. Okay, and then close the brackets. And I'm going to put the minus 7 outside. Alright, just like that. Alright. Everyone's okay so far? So we're going to move on to the next step here. I'm going to take whatever the negative whole squared is, I'm going to take that outside. So in this case, it's negative 16. So in this step, okay, what we're going to do, x squared plus 8x plus 16. I'm going to close the brackets now because I'm taking the negative 16 outside of the brackets. So it's going to be negative 16 minus 7. Okay, so basically we are just about done now. I'm going to combine two steps together here, and the reason is what we're supposed to do is factor whatever is inside of the brackets. Okay, in this case I know it's a perfect square, so I don't need to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm using the x. Okay, you're looking at the first sign inside of the brackets. Okay, you see how it's positive here, so I'm going to put plus. And my perfect square here that we found was 4, okay? So it's going to be x plus 4 squared, which is whole squared here. And the negative 16 and the 7, I'm just going to add that together, okay? So a little bit of integers again. Make sure you remember your integer rules. So it's going to be negative 23. And I'm going to put back the y here. So this is my final answer, okay? It's y equals x plus 4 squared minus 23. Okay, so what we did here was we basically changed the standard form of the quadratic into the vertex form of the quadratic. This is the vertex form. Okay, if I want to find out what the vertex is, okay, whatever is inside the brackets, you see how it's x plus 4. This is going to be negative 4. Okay, and what's outside is negative 23. I'm not going to change the sign of that, and I'm going to keep it as negative 23. So just like that, okay? The question will most likely say, convert the standard form of the quadratic equation into the vertex form by completing the square. So this is the completing the square method, and this is the only way I can change it back into the vertex form. Okay, the reason I'm finding the vertex of the quadratic is basically if I have the x-intercepts and I have the vertex, I will be able to graph out the quadratic, and that's what the question will usually ask you to do. Okay, so this is actually a very important method. Okay, so with that, we're going to try just one more example. Okay, and we're going to keep it kind of simple here. And there's just going to be one more step, okay, that we have to do, okay, when we do this question. So I'm going to just pick the question here from the textbook, okay, to make sure it's a little simple here. Okay, so it's going to be y equals, let's do 2x squared, okay, plus 12x plus 11, okay. So just like that, again, the steps are the same. Okay, do you notice any difference between this example and the one we did before? Okay, so if you look really closely, there's actually a number here in front of the x squared, okay? So I have to make sure I take that into consideration when I'm completing the square. Okay, so first we're gonna just make two brackets around here. Okay, so just around the first two terms. And whatever the third term is, I'm always going to leave that outside the brackets, okay? So what we're gonna do here is there can't be anything in front of the x squared, okay? So I'm gonna take out the 2, and you're just taking out, it's not the common factor or the greatest common factor, just whatever is in front of the x squared, just take that outside the brackets, okay? So here I'm left with x squared. And again, because I'm taking the 2 outside, I have to make sure I'm dividing each of the terms by 2. So I'm doing 12 divided by 2 here, which is equal to 6. So we're going to put x squared plus 6x. Okay, and plus 11. Make sure you keep writing the 11. It has to be in each of the steps here. Alright? Okay. So, and you notice I didn't take out the x here. Okay, I'm only taking out the number in front. Okay, that's underlining of the x squared. Okay, so this time when I'm using my perfect square, again, whatever is in front of the x, so in this case it is 6, I'm going to divide it by 2, and that gives me 3, which is the perfect square we're using here. Okay, so it's going to be 2, we're going to again add and subtract the perfect square. So I'm going to do plus 6x plus 3 squared minus 3 squared, and then close the brackets, okay? And I'm keeping the plus 11 outside the brackets. Okay, how are we doing so far? Okay, so I know it seems like a lot of steps, okay? But you have to keep doing a lot of practice questions from the textbook to really grasp this concept. Okay, and after that, I can just skip some of these steps, okay? So, now we're going to basically just do the 3 squared here, okay, and simplify it a little bit. So x squared plus 6x. Again, 3 squared is 3 times 3, which is 9. So I'm going to do plus 9 minus 9 and plus 11. Okay, so now the next step is actually really important. Okay, what we're going to do, I'm going to draw the arrow like we did last time, but I have to make sure I take the 2 into consideration here. Okay. Anytime I take something out of the brackets, I have to multiply this by 2, okay? So I want to take the negative 9 outside the brackets, okay? But I can't just take out the negative 9. I'm going to do negative 9 times 2, okay? Which is negative 18. So we're just going to rewrite this here. So I put x squared plus 6x plus 9, okay? And like I said, we did negative 9 times 2, which is negative 18. I'm going to take that outside the brackets, and then plus 11. Okay, so again, you notice the 11 is outside the whole time. I'm not changing anything with the 11 here. All right, and let's put these two steps together here. Okay, so I'm going to put the y back and keep the 2. Again, the 2 stays outside the whole time as well, as you notice here. Okay, so x, and I'm looking at the first sign. So this first sign is positive, so I'm going to put plus, okay? If there's ever an example, practice question you're doing in the textbook, and the first sign is negative, inside the brackets, it would also be negative, okay? So I'm just using that first sign. My perfect square here is 3, okay? So I'm doing x plus 3, and it's going to be whole squared, just like that, okay? So this is basically, I don't need to factor it. I know it's a perfect square. I'm just going to use my perfect square number there, which is 3, okay? And it's basically like x plus 3, and I'm writing that like 2 times. So it's x plus 3 whole squared, okay? And over here again, let's make a line. I'm going to do negative 18 plus 11. So use your integers. Again, the signs are different. I am subtracting the 2 numbers. I'm doing 18 minus 11, which is 7, okay? 18 is the bigger number here, and the sign for 18 is negative. So the 7 also has to be negative. So it's just going to look like this. Okay, are there any questions? Okay, so you notice that this was actually the only step, okay, that we had to worry about. So right before I take out my negative whole squared, I have to make sure I multiply it by whatever number is in front here, okay, of the whole expression. Okay, so this is my final answer at the end. Okay, I got y equals 2x plus 3 whole squared minus 7. Okay, again, this is the vertex form, okay, of the quadratic. So I'm going to write down what the vertex is, and you should always do that actually. Okay, so the teacher can see that you know what the vertex of the quadratic is. Whatever is inside the bracket, it's x plus 3. I'm going to change the sign. So it's going to be negative 3, okay? And whatever is outside the brackets, I don't change the sign for that. So negative 7 here. Okay, so my vertex is basically negative 3 and negative 7. Alright, so this is how you do the method for completing the square. And I hope you found this video really helpful. And if you did, make sure you're basically clicking on the like button, make sure you're subscribing to the channel. I will bring out more content associated with grade 10 math, especially the quadratics unit. Again, this is the main unit in grade 10 math. So thank you for watching, and I will see everyone in the next video. Bye!